Oh my gosh. Hello, rockers and Mercuryans. What's up? I just brushed my teeth and everything, and that's why I'm a little bit later. I've tried to put it on to make sure y'all knew I was on. But I'm here. We're going to be talking about the Menendez brothers, you guys. We're going to be talking about the Menendez brothers. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. What's up to Connor? Hello, Jessica. Jessica and Connor. I'm sure Zach will be here soon, too. I'm so sorry, you guys, for that. I didn't realize y'all so many people would come early like that. Not early, but would come right away. I thought I'd give y'all time. But y'all, we gotta talk about this Menendez brothers situation. It is very intense. So a lot of trigger warnings in this. We're gonna be watching some footage from Candace Owens on this Menendez brothers situation. At first, I thought that this was a case of injustice. I'll be honest. At first, I thought, yeah, they should be free, but as the media kind of tells you what to think in a way, when they pitch something as something that's an injustice, you start feeling like it's an injustice. But hold on one second, let me put this towel down. It echoes a lot. It echoes a lot in my house, and it's like midnight right now, so I don't want anybody waking up. Um, but yeah, we're gonna be listening to and reacting to a lot of this content. I do want to give you guys a chance to speak your mind as well. So I am going to join the Discord voice chat in case somebody wants to come on and chat about anything. I'm going to join right now as we go through this. Um, yeah, okay, cool. I have it up, but I'm putting it on low right now just so I can see if you guys come in. I'm also going to have my backup phone. Where's the backup phone at? Where the heck is my backup? Oh, here it is, right here. Okay. Got my backup phone ready just to make sure that everything's good on our stream. And then we'll be set to go. What the heck? It's still showing my old stream right now. That's so funny. Let me go to my page. What is going on with this? Sorry, y'all. I just want to make sure that the stream is going. We don't have any issues or anything. I think I have to restart my YouTube. All right, you guys. Y'all are all there, right? I just want to make sure before I continue because I've been having issues. Diddy from the club to prison. That's funny. We'll maybe talk about Diddy some more tomorrow. We'll see how I feel and everything. All right, cool. Looks like we're up. I just like having it on the background to make sure that I know the live is still going. All right, so let's get into this. Again, I am on Discord. You can go to my Discord by going to rockmercury.com. You guys can always join, and I will be talk with you guys over there too. If you guys want to chat in, of course, no cursing, please, for Discord, for the YouTube chat, but for the YouTube lives. But yeah, all right, let's get into this. I'm gonna share my screen right now. Put my earphones on so we can hear this and react to this new information to me. It might be new to y'all too, most likely. We will see. But either way, let's get into it and make some have a discussion. Oh wait, let's do a poll as well. I want to get a poll going. Um let's see, the poll should be: should the Menendez brothers be released? Should the Menendez brothers be released from prison? All right. Should the Menendez brother be released? And you can answer now or you can answer after the video. Y'all let me know what y'all feel about this because there's going to be a lot of details. And again, a big trigger warning for a lot of this content we're about to talk about right now. So all right, here we go. Let's get into it. Let me share my screen right away. Bring it. Just leave it to Candace to give you the real tea of what's going on, because I really thought that with Kim Kardashian on the case and so many people wanting them free, and they had a court hearing today that was people were excited about. They felt like they're so young, even they should be released. Let me like the video. Make sure you always like her videos. W to Candace. Please follow Candace on. I'm a huge, huge supporter of Candace. So I'm gonna leave it up like this. And let's get into hearing what she has to say.
See these cases happening, and I see the way that it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, you could take Casey Anthony. I think even recently Jeffrey Dahmer. People were starting to feel bad for Jeffrey Dahmer, and they were like, "Candace, like, have you seen the Netflix docs about his childhood?"
Mm.
And I'm going, "How many times are we going to keep doing this?" And it's not just real life stories, even in cartoons and movies for children, you're seeing that we are starting to feel bad for the villains, right? Like, it's like, don't you want to hear the story of Malevolence? This is the real story of Snow White and why you should feel bad for her. What is Wicked? Oh, we're bringing back the villain. Actually, the Green Witch, like, you wait until you hear her backstory, and then you're going to see that actually she's the true victim of the story. And Glenda the Good Witch, yeah, don't trust her.
Okay, so what she's saying here is just like she's basically explaining how a lot of us kind of get on board with things, even if they're not the true, without having all the facts. Like there's a Netflix documentary that really changed people's opinions. The Menendez brothers have been sitting in prison for a long time due to what they've done. And if you look at it, you're like, oh, they were so young, like all this. But she's going to break down this case. And I got to say, this changed my mind. I'm not saying it to change your mind. It's not even really up to us. It's up to a judge to decide. Some of the people in the courthouse believe that they should stay in there. I'm one of the people that believe they should stay in there. Now, before I watched this, I was like, okay, maybe they should get another chance. Their circumstances seem really sad. Like, okay, I didn't know a lot of these details, so let's pay close attention to this, and y'all let me know. I'm reading all your comments. I see Connor. He says so. So that's why I hear, baby. Oh God. Okay, you're funny, Connor. All right, Connor. Let's keep going.
We are being psychologically conditioned. And I just want to point that out. We are being psychologically conditioned by people that I believe who are evil to accept evil if they can create a narrative that we believe in. If they can get someone to come out and speak and say something, which in the case of the Michael Jackson case, they were able to find people that had debts and people who were looking for a come up, and you just don't know what back channels they're looking for to just participate in the documentary. And then when their stories fell apart later, nobody cared because they had watched the documentary. And that is a part of this psychological conditioning, that you believe that when you watch something, it must be real if you feel emotions. We have to be careful. So for those of you that are
That's a
not
good
familiar, because I know I
point.
have a lot of people that watch this show all over the world with the Menendez brothers case, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it right now. So the Menendez brothers are Joseph Lyle Menendez, who just goes as Lyle Menendez, and Eric Menendez. And they are children of an RCA music executive. His name was Jose Menendez, and his wife, Kitty Menendez. She was a retired teacher. They obviously fell into a lot of money.
Now, RCA is a huge, huge company. I believe they're part of Sony now, or they always been a part of Sony. It's very, very huge music companies. For it to be an executive there is a very big deal. A lot of darkness in the music industry, so I'm not gonna lie about that. Even for them to get as messed up as they had to have been to do what they've done, it's the music industry is a dark place. So I won't negate that. But let's just go further into what actually happened. Yeah.
Essentially
And by looking at him, like looking at the dad, it's my first time actually like seeing the dad and the mom, who are passed away. These are the two victims that we're talking about today. Um, Looking at the dad at first glance, um, I see some darkness behind his eyes. I'm not gonna lie. Behind the mom too, I see a little bit of a. It's kind of a scary picture. I'm not gonna like if because I'm one of those people who can look at somebody and kind of just get a certain vibe. Usually I'm right. I see a lot of darkness behind the dad's eyes, and honestly, some darkness behind her eyes too. I want to say like submissive darkness behind her eyes, but I don't know. It looks like they're almost made for each other with the level of darkness that they're both kind of. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I might be wrong on this, but most of the time I'm not. But let's keep listening. I'm only saying that in the way of because we there these two are alleged of doing some horrific things to their kids, which is why they have been murked. But I don't know per se, because then the other part of me, if I didn't know this, like let me clear my mind. Let's see if I can just clear my mind and not think about the rest of this case. And just look at this as like this is my first time seeing them and I don't know anything about them. They just seem like a um just like a cute married couple just hugging and you know just taking a pic together, just like a chill, like they seem kind of happy, like they're embracing each other. It seems genuine. They embrace with each other. Like it's like when you take out the backstory, it doesn't look as dark. So maybe some of the darkness of knowing too much about the story or knowing what I think I know about it, the same way Candace was just saying about how we watch a documentary and we immediately kind of feel like we know what's going on behind the scenes of the situation. Like it might be that, it might be, but but yeah, I don't. When I take away the story, I don't see as much of the darkness. But knowing what's alleged, it's projecting some darkness into their eyes. Maybe I don't know. Let's just keep listening.
He at first began as a Hertz executive. They were growing up in New Jersey, and then he became an RCA Records music executive, and they moved out to Calabasas, a wealthy area. So in 1987, Lyle attended Princeton University, where he ended up being placed on academic probation for poor grades.
Comics
And
that
he
free
was
them.
eventually suspended for plagiarism. There were other issues with him in his dormitory where he threw out all of his roommates' belongings because he said he didn't want to share a room. He left sinks overflowing, causing damage, and he repainted his room in violation of university rules. So he was just kind of a problem child that happened to be at Princeton. And eventually they said, you know what, you got to get out of here.
At Princeton, those things may seem like silly things, but those are pretty disruptive things and very like just rebellious kind of things that are kind of like not even that deep, but it's like, what the F? Like, why are you doing all these things? Like, just trying to cause problem at Princeton. I understand if you're at some ghetto school, it's different. If you're at like a community college or whatever, maybe that might be different. But you're at a top school like Princeton, misbehaving, and that's something that I don't know. That's not something that you're supposed to be doing at Princeton. So let's keep going.
Back in Calabasas, his brother Eric wrote an amateur screenplay with his classmate that was called Friends, and it was the story of a rich young man who killed his parents in a perfect murder because he wanted the inheritance money. So he wrote this story. Okay.
Let's pause right there. Digest that for a second as I get my water. Digest what she just said with the screenplay that he wrote. Digest that for 1 second. I want to hear your comments. Make a comment about that as I get my water real quick. It's right behind me. I just gotta grab this bottle, but like digest that. He wrote a screenplay about what he ended up doing in the future. All right. I hope y'all digested that. I gave y'all plenty of time to digest that. That is deep. That's something I did not know. Maybe I haven't looked into the case that much, I guess. A lot of us don't look into it that deeply, to be honest. Like we're kind of surface value, kind of go with the flow and then go with the emotions. A lot of people are celebrating today at the idea of them getting a retrial for their bail. At the idea of it, even that is something that people are just like, oh my gosh, like victory. They could be free. They deserve to be free, and all this kind of stuff. Um, I want to keep going in it, but like they end up murking their parents. But yeah, he needed a screenplay about that. That's something that's not to be pushed over. Connor says, not to be mean. I already had school. Rock. I have typed and listened enough today. Just kidding. What the heck? I'm confused. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. You're funny. Mm-hmm. You're saying you had enough school. You ain't trying to be in school again. I understand. All right, let's keep listening then. You type. Thank you for typing though. Lacey still typed. All right, cool. Let's get into this.
Now let's get to what happened on August 18th, 1989. Eric and his brother purchased two shotguns. And then 2 days later, on August 20th at 10:30 p.m., they barged into their parents' Beverly Hills mansion. Now, to be clear, the reason that they barged into their mansion in Beverly Hills and not in Calabasas is because they had to move because the year prior, the brothers went on a burglary spree in the Calabasas neighborhood and stole like $100,000 from their neighbors, which included jewelry. And so the dad had to up and move them to Beverly Hills. Okay. So
Let's not miss that part, please. Let's not miss that part. All we hear is about the bad things the dad did, which, sorry, if the dad did those things, that could lead to these bad behaviors that they're exhibiting if this is true. But stealing $100,000 or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of things from your neighbors, that is, and in Calabasas too. I'm somebody who was in Calabasas often. I grew up in Los Angeles. Calabasas, a lot of wealthy houses there, a lot of people trust a lot out there too because of how kind of suburban it is out there. Very nice area, but like kind of like in the desert too, but not, it doesn't feel like the desert, like in a mountain desert. It's weird. Anyway, um, that's wild. That's pretty wild to think that you can just walk, like go into your neighbors' homes and steal their stuff, and this is supposed to be your community. um I don't like that too much. I don't like that at all. I mean, like I said, some of these behaviors could be stemming from their bad childhood, but let's keep listening to this. This gets deeper because yeah, I'm trying to keep factoring that part in, but as you see later on, even them possibly have gotten mistreated by their dad, it's questionable, it's debatable if that even really happened. So, but we'll go in further.
So you got problems in Princeton, you got problems in the Calabasas neighborhood with the law. And then once they lived in the Beverly Hills mansion, they had purchased these two shotguns. And at 10:30 p.m., they barged into the mansion and they blasted their parents with those shotguns as they were eating in the den watching television. Jose, the father, was shot 6 times, including a fatal shot to the back of his head.
Mm,
Kitty, the mother, was shot 10 times in total before she
I'll go back a
received that
bit.
fatal watching television. These two shotguns and at 10 Calabasas neighborhood with the law. And then once they lived in the Beverly Hills mansion, they had purchased these two shotguns. And at 10:30 p.m., they
Shotgun.
barged into the mansion and they blasted their parents with those shotguns as
Oh,
they were eating in the den watching television. Jose, the father, was shot 6 times, including a fatal shot to the back of his head. Kitty, the mother, was shot 10 times in total before she received that fatal shot to her face. She was on the ground crawling away. She may have survived, but then Lyle ran to the car where Eric then handed him more ammunition to
mm,
reload before firing that fatal shot to her cheek. They later told a therapist that they killed the father because they hated him and that they killed the mother out of mercy. Like they said, it was just a mercy killing. And of course, they had run out of shells and then went back to the car before they had hit her again. Now,
okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Um, so they go into the house. They got the shotties. They full piece their dad 6 times. Pop, 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 pop with the shotty. Back of the head end shot. Mom gets shot 5 times, crawling away. They go back and reload. That takes that. Think about that. Think about going back in just to reload and to end her. You know, um, and they're saying because and don't forget the play in the play that they're talking that the play that he wrote. They ended the parents for the money. It was for the inheritance. To get the money. Um, that's a very brutal way to end someone. It's very overkill. It's very like callous and kind of heartless. Psychotic, if you might say. Um, I personally wouldn't want to sit next to a person who did that to their parents. If I had to ride the bus or something, or if I had to go on a plane and they're gonna be my next to sit next to me, I would not like that. I would not feel safe with that person around me. As a neighbor, I would not feel safe with that being my neighbor. We gotta think about these things before we're just like, oh, we're justice. Oh, they deserve. They got their time. They did their time. They're supposed to be serving life in prison for what they've done. This story's not even over yet. We're still gonna go. Like, there's still more to this. But just from that alone, would you really want to be sitting with somebody or sitting next to somebody or knowing that somebody who did this is just out free and near you, you know, in a Walmart near you? Like, of course, there's people everywhere. There's insane things happening, so I'm not denying that. But mm, you know, this is heavy. This is a heavy situation because it's like it's one thing to feel threatened and in them, but they weren't threatening them at this moment. They were sitting watching TV. The parents are watching TV, chilling, and they came in like Call of Duty and effed them up, and now they're gone. Um, Yeah, I believe weren't they adults at this time too? Aren't they in their 20s? I believe they're adults at this point. So let's just keep going.
Some things that are just important to know. Again, these are the facts. I know people are all fired up because, like I said, once Peacock and Netflix creates a series, people are suddenly too emotional to listen. But these are the facts of the case, that these kids were wealthy kids, that they had obviously. A lot of resources. Like I said, the burglaries were not inconsequential. They took a lot of money.
Mm,
And then following the trial, what happened in 1989 um, I should tell you what happened actually first. Let me back
that's
up here and
fine.
tell you what happened immediately after they shot the parents. They
This is
assumed
deep.
the police were going to hear them. The police did not hear them. So they were able to change their clothes, get rid of their clothes, get rid of the shotguns, find somewhere to bury them. And then they went down and tried to purchase tickets to Batman to create their alibi. They went out that evening, came back, expected the police to be swarming their home. The police were not swarming their home. So they themselves opted to call 911 and to insert an alibi to say that they had been out, came home, found their parents dead. And when they phoned the operator, Eric was screaming in the background with so much grief. It was this totally brutal scene. The police officers and the forensic staff that had worked on that scene described it as one of the most brutal that they had ever encountered,
Mm.
noting the blood and the brain matter that had been splattered all throughout the room. And there was even a detective who stated, quote, "I've seen a lot of homicides, but nothing quite that brutal. The blood, there was flesh, there was skulls. It would be hard to describe it." And
Now they murked their parents, had time and had enough mental clarity to hide the weapons, to bury the weapons, get rid of their clothes, go buy Batman tickets, which I'm sure Batman's like, leave me out of this, you know, especially because Batman lost his parents to a senseless act of violence in Gotham City. So that's kind of ironic, or I don't know if that's the right word, but that's kind of effed up that, you done murked your parents and you go see Batman. Now you ain't got no parents. There's something about that. I think that, I mean, they could have picked any movie. They picked Batman at this time. Um, mm, they go see Batman. They expect, because the cops didn't hear them. First of all, I don't know if y'all heard that part, but the cops didn't hear the original shooting. All of those bullets and all the shotguns. They didn't hear all that. I don't know how they have. I mean, but I get that part because Calabasas, especially if they're rich, you have a lot of space in Calabasas. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I've been to a lot of Calabasas houses. You have a lot of space in between your houses. You have a lot of um. It's hard for sound to reach that far. To be honest, like, it's especially if you're doing it inside and they're just in the living room and people have their music. Music is. I'm not surprised that people didn't hear. That the neighbors didn't notify the police. I'm not surprised about any of this because people mind their own business over there too. There's a lot of sketchy stuff that can happen, but it's very nice neighborhood, very wealthy people who enjoy their privacy. So I'm not surprised that they did not get that they did not have the police there until way after they get back from a movie theater, and then to call the cops and say they just got home and have this alibi and stuff. To say they just got home, fake cry and fake, you know, fake the distress and just the heartbreak. Oh my God, I'm sure they had to tap into some kind of emotion to do that if it was believable, but it was on the phone at that point. So this kid, this is just that's very psychopathic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you. That's a little deeper than like I can't take the abuse anymore. I can't take the pain. My parents did this to me. Like I have to get rid of them. Like this is very calculated for somebody who's supposed to be free soon, possibly, and out on the streets again.
And they said that the father didn't even resemble a human being that would be recognized.
Mm,
That's how bad it was.
that's terrible.
But regardless, they obviously, when they
You
arrived
do
at the
that.
scene, believed the boys because they were young, and one of the brothers even
These cops have seen so much, and yet they still felt like this was one of the most brutal things they've seen, and that this dad didn't even look like a human with how shot up he was. Like, imagine how brutal that had to be, how close range these shotgun shots had to be for you to not be recognizable anymore. That is so heavy. That part's real heavy to me. And the mom too. The mom got more shots than he did. So let's keep going.
offered up a possibility that the reason this murder had taken place was because of something dealing with the mafia. His father is involved with a record executive. Like maybe that's what's going on. And so the police didn't even scan them for residue. They
And two
truly
things
just
can be
believed that
true.
these boys had stumbled home to find their executive father and their mother dead. And they had believed this show of grief that they had put on. What happens next is really important
That could be
because
true, to
if
be
you know anything
honest.
about the story and the trial and what's happening on Netflix,
That part could be true about the dad being connected to the mafia ties that we don't know. I mean, the music industry is very connected to a lot of, very bizarre, very dark energies and people. So that could be factual, possibly. I'm not sure. I mean, we don't know. But that part right there, we don't. But like the fact that they came up with it so quickly, it's like, is that the case? Is that what y'all went through? Like there's something to say there. I don't know. I'm not saying it's the truth, but it's just like interesting. Like that is an interesting thing that they go right to, because that we've known, like we even seen Diddy's in right now, and he's been associated with so many people that were like, this is sketchy, very sketchy. Um, that he's associated with so many people who are, alleged to be in, maybe possibly illegal activities. So let's keep going.
has now turned into a story about sexual assault, but these facts of what happened on that day and thereafter are actually really important. It took
Yes, very
7 months for the police to investigate and to turn their
7 months.
investigation onto the brothers. And I want to let you know that during those 7 months, Lyle purchased 2 restaurants, a
Mm.
cafe, plus a buffalo wing restaurant. He also purchased 3 Rolex watches and a Porsche. They both of them traveled on vacation to London, the Caribbean. They also attended a Knicks game courtside. Eric hired a full-time tennis coach. And then the police started going, okay, that's interesting. Like, is this
They had money. That's money. Not them buying franchises. Not them buying franchises and expensive watches, expensive cars. Multiple, not just one. You know how hard some people live their whole life and never even like be able to afford one restaurant. They bought multiple restaurants. They're trying to just like people just try to they live their whole life working at one restaurant they get, if they can even afford that. Sometimes they just work at the restaurant, they don't even own it. They got money,
this is
money.
quite a way for 2 people to behave in any circumstance of their parents just being brutally murdered, sort of spending all of this money. Could this potentially be a motive?
Mm.
Then what happened was Eric's high school friend Craig reported to the police that Eric had confessed the murder to him, and he also revealed that Eric
These people who are villains, they love exposing themselves. They can't. They could have kept a secret. Nobody could have ever known. They could have been chilling. Nobody could have ever known. They could have not been in jail. We can't say like, oh, they were young and dumb. Like they were smart enough to do this and be had the police held off for 7 months. They like these people. There's a pattern here of um, psychopathic people who just need to get credit for the psychopathic things that they've done. They need to get credit. They need it. Need it. They'll risk their own livelihood, their own freedom for that desire to get credit for their crimes. So many people get found guilty um, for doing something dumb like that and confessing or saying to the wrong people. So
Had previously written that 66-page screenplay, like I told you earlier, entitled Friends, which depicted the son killing his wealthy parents for their inheritance. So the police are
mm,
thinking, maybe we have a motive here. Then Lyle's friend, Glenn Stevens, informed the police that just 1 week after the killings, Lyle actually made a sudden trip back home to Princeton to destroy something in the family computer.
mm,
Stevens said that Lyle told him that a family member had located a new will and he had gone back there to erase that will. Then a computer expert came forward and confirmed that he was hired by Lyle to ensure that the new will had been properly deleted off of the computer. So these are the facts of the case that you're not hearing people discuss as they talk about the sexual abuse that the boys said they endured during the trial. And by the way, I'm not here to question that narrative. The parents are not alive. You already know where I stand on the entire industry. I think it was
that right there is so deep because nobody talks about this part to the point where like I've never heard any of this. I know Candace does her work. She gets her work done. She does her research. She double dots her I's, crosses her T's. You know, when it comes to this kind of stuff. So nobody talks about this, and when you see people like Kim Kardashian, she'll talk about this in a few minutes. But when you see people like Kim Kardashian and Netflix and people just supporting them in the public, you kind of have to look at things sideways. These are very important facts. You know, you hire a hacker to break into these computers and delete a will that you're here in a second, but apparently the father told the son, one of the sons, that they are written out the will. They've been written out the will, probably for their bad behavior and like being shady enough to murk their parents, you know? Not that I mean this was before they got murked, of course, that they would say this, but this is right before when they were told that they're getting written out the will. You know, this doesn't seem like it's about some um, inappropriate situation sexually. It doesn't seem like that. Could that have happened? Possibly. I don't know if that's happened to them, but this gets deeper. Let's keep going.
basically founded by freaks and pedophiles in Hollywood. So I have no argument against them alleging that the father had sexually abused them, but that is what happened. So initially they had not said that to investigators, but then during the trial, once 7 months later, after they had spent $700,000,
Hmm.
and then police arrested them, and they got a lawyer. Suddenly they said
$700,000
that
in seven
actually this
months.
is
That's 100,000 every month that they're spending. 700,000. That's some. They got some money. That's all I gotta say. That is wow. Do you understand that 100,000 is double what the average person makes a year in America, in like the whole America. Of course, there's certain cities where you can't even live off that, like off 100,000, like New York or LA. You know, certain places. But on average, people are making 30, 40,000 a year, um, and hopefully they get some overtime, whatever. But like they talk about 100,000 a month they're spending since the murking of their parents. You would say like, oh, they're just stressed and they're spending and they're just trying to. No, remember they went to the movies after. Remember they didn't. There was no. I don't see. I don't feel the remorse in these actions. So let's keep going.
is a story about abuse and that they had been tortured and that they had been abused by their parents. Eric alleged that um, Jose had told him that he was written out of the will. I think that's also important.
The
So we
dad will
know
say
that leading up to it, the father had told Eric that he was written out of the will. Lyle's former fiance Jamie testified during the trial that he tried to bribe her. He offered her money to falsely testify that the father had made sexual advances towards her. So you can see that during this
Mm.
trial, there are two things going on. Like, obviously, the prosecutor testified during the trial that he tried to bribe of the will. I think that's also important. So we know that leading up to it, the
Rewind that.
father had told Eric that he was written out of the will. Lyle's former fiance, Jamie, testified during the trial that he tried to bribe her.
The former fiance. So his former fiance, he tried to pay her money to lie for him. That's mm,
He offered her money to falsely testify that the father had made sexual advances towards her. So you can see that during this trial, there are two things going on. Like, obviously, the prosecution's going, listen, we're finding out that they're trying to bribe people to lie. They're trying to delete wills off of the computer, actually successfully deleting new wills off of the computer. They've now confessed that leading up to this, the father told them that they were being written out of the will. Now we have that they then purchased shotguns following that, and the parents are both dead. It begs
mm.
the question, why did you shoot your mom? Okay. If you are saying that your father sexually abused you, why kill your mother as well? If you're the prosecution, you're going to make the argument that you killed the mother as well because this was always about money. You were a rich kid that got pissed off about not getting your inheritance and you killed both of your kids. If you're the defense, you're going to sit there and you're going to argue, oh, well, actually, that's not the case. I don't really know why they cared about the will thereafter, but these were kids that suffered so much trauma that them killing their parents in this way can be understood. And essentially, that is what happened. So his former girlfriend similarly testified and said that she
Wow.
was being instructed by him behind the scenes on how to testify. It did seem that they did try to corrupt the testimony of both his fiance and a former girlfriend, Lyle. That is, Lyle did that. But then on the other side, you had a cousin of his, Diane Vandermolen, who said that she spent summers living with the Menendez family and testified that, yes, she had no doubt that there was sexual abuse because when Lyle was 8 years old, and he came to her and she was 17 at the time. She said one night that she was in her room changing the sheets in her bed, and Lyle came in and asked if he could sleep in the bed that was next to hers because he was afraid to sleep in his own bed because his father had been touching him. So you have proof. Again, the parents are not alive to dispute that narrative.
Was she paid? Was that cousin paid? To say that at the 8 years old part, and it could be true. That could be true. But actually, like you said, what about the mother? Why are you doing it to the mother? When it comes to the P word, to the PDF files, you know what I mean? I think they should burn in the pits, fiery pits. So, if that's true, then if he really did that, then okay, um, it's still psychopathic the way they did it to him, But I don't have as much sympathy for him. But then with the mom, it's like, really, But then also people I do know that like she said at the beginning of this video, which I didn't show that part, but she was saying how they did Michael Jackson dirty and tried to pitch him as something he wasn't. So was he being lied on? Was his dad being lied on, and he really wasn't a part of anything nefarious like that or disturbing like that? Any of these terrible allegations, and or if they weren't true, and he still gets murked, that's mm, it gets really tricky here. So I don't know. I hope this cousin wasn't paid.
But you can see why people are up in arms and saying that it is a plausibility that maybe the dad really did abuse him, and that is the reason that they were acting out.
Possibility.
Then, because you have these things that then get unearthed years later, and then suddenly there's like a Paramount and everyone's starting to make films about it and documentaries. What ended up happening was a Menudo band brother, like the Menudo, the band. One of the members, Roy Rossello, came forward in 2023 to Peacock. He didn't go to
Mm.
police. He didn't testify at the time. But in 2023, he decided to speak out in a Peacock documentary about the Menendez brothers. And he said that he too was raped by the Menendez father and that he endured all of this sexual assault while he was coming up in the music industry. By the way, like I said, do not discount
Wow.
any of that narrative. Just think that this stuff should maybe go through on a trial, and that trial should not be Peacock or on Netflix. Okay. I don't believe that this
Mm.
is how people should be responding, where you watch something on TV, you hear somebody tell you something, and you just simply believe it because you're feeling emotional. That's kind of the point that we're at right now.
But that person's already comfortable in Hollywood. He's already in the music in the band, the Menudo, the band, the group. So he's already comfortable and more comfortable in front of cameras and attention that way. A lot of people don't trust the police. And what do you do when the statute of limitations are over that far? Um, I don't know if I can fault him for going to the media or the producers for this show before going to the cops. It's hard to fault that when things are so corrupted already. So it's like, yeah, he did that, but is that not the wrong thing to do? I don't know. I don't know. This is rough. Let's keep going.
Let's take it to its full end, right? Let's actually say that we believe fully. Let's just take that scenario fully that the Menendez brothers were molested by their father when they were kids. Like I said, we can just let's accept that narrative fully and say we can verify it 100%. Do you believe that that would then give them the right to murder their father, okay, then to murder their mother as a mercy killing, as they described it, thereafter, then to go on a shopping spree, hoping that you're maybe going to get away with it, buying, kind of preparing for your new life? Does that not just in your head flag you as, wait, that's not right? For some reason in our head, there's like this either or. And people are like, well, if the guy sexually assaulted them, then no matter what they did is okay. And that is
Mm,
not the circumstance. Two things can be true at the exact same time. If
yeah.
the sexual abuse allegations are true, then truly, truly, I hope that their father is burning in hell. I really do hope their father is burning in hell.
Mm-hmm.
But it would also be true that them executing their mother and their father and all the things that they did thereafter, trying to edit the testimony of their girlfriends and their fiancés, is also wrong. And I would not want
Yeah.
someone who had exhibited the anger that they exhibited before they killed their parents. I'm talking about what they did at their time, what one of the brothers did at their time at Princeton, exhibiting anger behavior, also burglaries leading up to this. We have a problem here. These are not people that I would want released back into the streets. Maybe you want them to live
Yeah.
in your neighborhood and you can hug them back to health. That's totally fine. But there's a pattern here that had been established leading up to this. And I don't think that shooting your mom, if you did do that, okay, and feeling so okay with it that you just go on shopping sprees and don't have any remorse. Like if they had told on themselves
Same
and said,
day,
we
by
did
the
this
way.
because instantly, trying to get away with it in the way that they did makes me really uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
I offer this only to constantly keep us thinking about whether or not we are being emotionally manipulated by the
Mm-hmm.
media, right? To not reach sensibly, logically sound, morally
It feels
sound
like it.
conclusions that cold blooded murder is wrong. I've seen this happen with George Floyd case. I've seen this happen when, suddenly people don't care about the things that George Floyd did in his past. It all becomes down to what they watched. It all comes down to a documentary and the facts and what somebody said they saw versus what actually happened that day. It just seems to be happening more quickly these days. The faster person, like the more quickly that we churn out these documentaries, the more quickly it seems that any person in the entire world can be rehabilitated. And I'm not really comfortable with that conclusion. That's the only thing that I want to say
Mm,
about that. Again, this is not a way to assert that what happened to them, if it happened to them, was right. But I do think that the public response to this has been very wrong. And that's all I'm going to say about that
yeah.
topic. All right, guys, do you want to have a deeper prayer life, but you don't know where to start? Well, I get that. And so does Hallow, which is why I'm excited to tell you about Hallow's new prayer challenge, which is called How to, or you'll get a
I
new
think she
3 months. So happy that, by the way, over a million of you guys have watched that episode when he just describes the fact that she's she's got nothing going on. Things have always been handed to her. She's actually not intelligent. She did sleep.
All right, sorry, we're talking about that's about Kamala now. Okay, let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen for a moment. I do want to show one more thing before that's the end of what she has to say, and I gotta say, like, that's some psychopathic behavior based on their actions. It seemed like it was more motivated on money. Or money, like it didn't seem like they were a direct threat at that point. That's something that they could have sued their parents if these things were happening. If he was being attacked, they could have sued the parents, and that could have been another way to handle the whole will the whole will situation, like not being in the will. They could have sued the parents. Were they that afraid of the parents they would murk them in their adult age at that time? Um, I'm not comfortable with them being released. I don't think they should be released. I think they should serve life in prison, especially for what they did to their mother, and it's the way they did everything. the hiring of the hackers, the shopping spree right after the watching ticket going to watch the Batman movie and the fake crying and the 911 call. Like there's so many things that are super sketchy about this case that I can't just get behind it and be like, yeah, free them. They deserve a second chance. Like I don't want a person like that on there, but out there. And but I have to. I can't go through this without talking about why I think they're being forgiven by the media. You know, um, I wanna talk about that. Let's see. Um, I want to show you some pictures of the Menendez brothers. Because what I believe, let's see, images. Find a good image. This seems to be one of the most famous images of them. Um, Here we go. Let's just do this one because wouldn't be justice unless it was for somebody who visually kind of more appealing. Now they may not be everybody's type, these two, but especially this one right here. This one right here is not an ugly man. That is not that these this one isn't either, honestly, but these men they have that like psychopath serial killer look, with a bit like a handsomeness to them. They're rich too. The story's intriguing. This is why the public is outcrying for them. Let's find another picture. This is them when they were younger. I mean, classic jocks. Like I do think I knew they were mad too about there being like this romanticized relationship that they had together, based on the portrayal of them in the the Ryan Murphy show that they did about the Menendez brother, which they definitely denied. They say no, we weren't. We had nothing sexual like that going on, nothing incestuous or whatever you want to call it. Um, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Hollywood sometimes likes to add razzle dazzles and really gross things into stories to make it more interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something, especially with the amount of dysfunction they had and how close they remain to this day. Um, I don't know. I see another picture of them. This is them in the case. This one right here. I mean, they're both. This one right here, though, like that's model face right there. He could be a full out model. Let's just be honest. Let's be so for real, and that's why America cares. That's why we even care. That's why we're talking about this. If they didn't look like this, we would be like whatever. Look at them. Let's hear them now. It's what they look like now. And honestly, especially this one, but honestly, even that one, they both. A lot of women would say they both can get it. Not that women. I mean, I don't know what their orientation is or what their situation is. Hold on, what? I think it's one. Yeah, they're not bad looking guys, like attraction wise, but there's a lot of people who are attractive who are psychopathic, who could be serial killers, who could be all kind of things, but we don't stand up for people unless they look attractive. There's like historical, there's no big outcry, there's not a public outcry and drama for people who don't look aesthetically pleasing. That's just real. Let's just be so honest right now. Let's just be so honest. Sorry, y'all. I'm putting my earphones away. Um, we got to keep the facts on that. Let's see anything else we see on this page. That's really it. It's not even. I don't even think it's that much of a white or black thing. It might be some of it, but it's because they're in life in prison, so I don't know how much it's about race. But the fact that like their crimes were so bad that even their looks didn't get them off at that time. they still have to go to prison for life in prison. And I think they should stay in prison. Like if I was a judge, I'd be like, "What the f? You did what to who? That's not a reliable source. Like we are keeping you in prison. Like this is a mess. Like this is terrifying to think that this people can be just out on the bus with you, out on the street in the park with you, or they can just flip a switch like that and do something like that to their parents and still go watch Batman afterwards and go on a shopping spree. Hire people to read to edit a will. Like these are all like sketchy situations. Like it seems so planned to do that all in a matter of 7 months. That's and to brag about it to people and confess. Like, why are you confessing about these things afterwards? You want that's psychopathic to want attention for that. If they really felt like they were in danger, they can't keep something secret that they wouldn't have even had. If they kept it secret, their friends wouldn't have never came out and put them in this position. But they were so psychopathic about it that they um they couldn't hold it in. But now they're older and they know better. Okay, I learned my lesson. Don't, use a shotgun on mommy and poppy. Like, no, this is heavy. But yeah, like let's be real, they both look like model vibes. That they both are very like they're good looking. They're not like amazing looking. Like, oh my god, yes, let me bust it open for you. Like nothing like that. But definitely for a lot of people, they would be down for this. Let's see who they picked in the Netflix show. Full of blatant lies. Eric Menendez said this. The show is full of blatant lies about them. They said what they look like in the show. Um, decently, decently attractive. Honestly, to be real, the real ones look better than these actors. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna hold you. These ones actually look rainbow. These guys look, GA. Well, they look rainbow. They look like they would, I don't know. The actors do, but the real ones. Look at this. Look how they portrayed them with the weapons coming in too, as if they're nervous when they're gonna go see a movie right after, and it goes back to get instead of seeing his mom crawling and saying, you know what, let me help her and I made a mistake. They went and got more ammo and shot more. You know this. Yeah, I think keep them in prison. We say, let's see. So should the Menendez brothers be released from prison? We didn't get that many votes, so I'm not going to read that. Some of y'all are still, I guess y'all saying yes, basically. But we need more votes for that to matter. Um, I wish I could have that vote in the chat just so we can get more votes in there because I know it's late right now. We're not getting as many people as we usually do. Um, yeah. And here, of course, we have Kim Kardashian involved in this too. She couldn't keep her plastic yacht out of this. Kim Kardashian visits the Menendez brothers. She had to visit them. All the dark things she's seen, she just had to keep surrounding herself with more darkness. Um, yeah, wild stuff, y'all. Very wild. Very very wild. Um, that's pretty much it, you guys. I was looking kind of through Ryan Murphy. Definitely got like look at his portrayal of them. Look at that portrayal. That's so rainbow of portrayal. He definitely has them looking like rainbow soy boys. Going to do this protect their version. Derriere. Um, Yeah, I've worked with Ryan Murphy many times. I see this picture too. These people still look unhinged. They're attractive, but they look unhinged. I will say they both look like him. Maybe they wouldn't be getting out, but this one, I think he's saving it. He looks a little bit more like handsome for the ladies and the guys who are fantasizing about the situation. People love crime. They love like giving all this attention to like real murderers instead of some the people who are innocent and people who are like really have wrongful situations going on. Like, so yeah, this is definitely wild. I'm gonna, like I said, I vote that they stay in. For me, I vote that they stay the f in jail. Personally, I do not want to see these people. If these people came to my door, oh my gosh, how terrifying! How terrifying if these people came to my door. No, thank you. Get the f off my property. I'm pulling out my blick blick. Wait, this is the father, the dad, and the kids. I don't know. I don't know. This kid looks a little traumatized. This one, I mean, he's so young. I don't know. I might be reading into that. Maybe he might have not gotten an extra cookie today. This is where the house is. The Beverly Hills mansion where it all happened. This is the house. Allegedly. Wow. Goodness. I feel bad to live in that house afterwards. Gotta be hunted AF. This is the mom? Who did they marry? That's the fiance? Uh, but they're saying that there's a deeper round. Like to go to be this unhinged and to be this close as brothers too. Something must have, happened to trauma bond them to be so troublesome since such an early age. Um, but I don't know. It's the way they did it. That's just like, dang, like maybe that's their young ego doing all that. L.A. County Jail. Wow. Looking through pictures and stuff. Yeah, if they were ugly, they would not get this attention. It's the only reason why people even care. Yeah. Well, this is them together as a family, a rich old family. I mean, it's hard to see some of the dark things that happen through photos, but it is rough to see a photo like this where they're both there, um, looking all kind of happy together, except for this one. He's looking, a little more stern. But to see this and know that they murked them all, I don't know about this. I feel like I almost feel like if it wasn't for the other witnesses, especially the one from the band that said they also were a victim of this man here, the dad, then I don't know if I would believe this in any way because I feel like they did so many unscrupulous things that lying about being attacked or abused wouldn't be that far fetched. for somebody who would use a shotgun on their parents the way they did. Um, yeah. Mm, SNL. SNL is crazy. They put this on SNL. That's dark. This is too dark to be on SNL. That's scary. There's no. That's wow. Wow. And here's the house. Goodness. Probably this is a living room right here. And there's a probably a living room there too. Hmm. I will show some crime scene photos, but I don't know if they even show them on here or they have them. So, but that probably be too gory anyway. Let me just look and see. I want to see them. I'm not gonna show it to y'all because I don't want to show that and get messed up on YouTube. But I'm gonna look them up real quick. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Um. Is this real? Hmm. I think this is right. I think this is real. Yeah, that looks like it's the real picture. Oh my, this is um hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna show this. I don't want. Yeah, you can look this up. Yeah, I want this. YouTube's very specific about this kind of stuff. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Mmm. Mm-mm. Oh, they did them dirty. Like these pictures are very disturbing. I cannot show them on YouTube, but you can look them up right on Google and it will show up. Viewers discretion, huge warning. But this, I'm looking at their faces after this, afterwards. Oh my god. Um, oh god, this is terrible. I think a lot of people aren't gonna see this. They're not gonna look this up. It's too gross. It's too gruesome to look at. And they're just gonna be like, freedom. Almost the way they did with Gypsy Rose, where they're just like, she went through a lot and she shouldn't be stuck in there. These pictures, I wish I could. I don't even know if I wish I could show them, to be honest. I don't even know if I wish I could show them because this is something I wish I didn't see, to be honest. I'm gonna keep looking for more information. Oh my. Right on the couch. Right on the couch, and the mom on the ground crawling away. Oh my god. And it's a phone call too. Oh my god. Yeah, I think they should stay in prison. I think staying in prison is a good thing for them. Oh my god, I'm looking right now at the actual um oh my gosh. At the dad part. This is unblurred. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh. I can imagine walking into this as a police officer. This is horrific. And this is their parents. Yeah, I'm gonna need them to stay the F in prison, to be honest. If I'm gonna be honest about it. Oh, whoa. Hmm. Yeah, I don't see any excuse for this. Like, I don't. Yeah, definitely don't watch this. Don't look at these pictures unless you have a strong heart. Like, I'm about to end this live and have to go to sleep because this is dark, dark stuff. I know they were young when they did it, but it's sometimes you gotta live your life in prison. Sometimes you just gotta live your life in prison because what the F, you know? Oh my god, her clothes afterwards. Oh god. Oh my god. I found more images. Oh my gosh. The back of the head. Oh god. The clothes. The pants. Oh my goodness. The splatter everywhere on the table. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures were found of the brothers. Um, it was how their heads. Wow. I see all the stuff about the abuse under it. I don't. This is something that should have been handled in court. Maybe not do this to the. Uh, yeah, that's all I can say on that. I'm just. I gotta end this. I gotta end this live. Mm-mm. This is horrific. Um. Yeah. So thank y'all for watching. This is a heartbreaking situation. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna try to do 112 for me. I gotta go to sleep. Um. Thank y'all for watching. Looks like we're split 50-50 when it comes to whether they should be free or not. I'll end the poll there at 50-50 right now. I'm voting for keep them locked up. But oh my, oh my. So rock on, Mercury, and thank y'all for your support. Thank y'all for watching. Don't look at those pictures unless you want to be disturbed. Um, but yeah, it's hard with everything else they did. That's the hard part. Of like, did they really lie about it, about the abuse earlier? But they said they found pictures. There's pictures of them younger. So it seemed like that was true, that they really were abused from the dad. But like, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I feel like this was the way they did this was very effed up. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think in the comment section. Rock on Mercuryans. Keep those Mendezes locked up because I don't want to see that on the street. All right, rock on Mercuryans. Bye. Dang.